Polaroid sent me a new product of theirs. It's a LED light. And for those who've been following Polaroid for many years, you know that Polaroid used to make their own products. But recently, all their products are basically white labeled. They're somebody else's product with the Polaroid brand on it. Sharper Image does the same thing. So Polaroid's not alone in doing this. There are many brands doing it. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because I think Polaroid might have jumped the gun on this product. So here's the light. Now, obviously this is the back of the light. I am not facing the light right at the lens right now. Though this light basically came in a tiny pouch, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But the tiny pouch was filled with 4 bars, metal bars, and then a backing material which is lined with white and LEDs on it, and then a front material which is a diffusion screen that looks like this. Now, it was kind of cool that it came in such a compact package, but sometimes the compact package outweighs the benefits of a quality product. Now here's the thing. The product, although it's pretty cool that it's this square metal and it can be broken down into pieces, and you can even take off the, unvelcro and take out the LEDs and actually just sort of shape it and mold it however you want and potentially, put it in various situations. There are a lot of design flaws in this light. So let's go through the light piece by piece and talk about what's good and what's bad. So I'm on the back side, so I'm gonna stay on the back side. The first thing, and I have this plugged in, is that you've got this little module here. And there's no screen on here, so you have no idea how bright or dim or what Kelvin the white balance is at, the color temperature is at with this light. It also requires you to plug it in. There's no battery options at all. It's an LED, so they could have really just put like a 9-volt or something like that to power this light as a backup solution, but instead it has to be plugged in, which brings me to the next feature. This lovely handle right here is screwed in using a tripod size screw, and the handle is meant to handhold this light or to slip it onto a light stand. But here's the thing with that. If I'm hand holding, I don't want to be tethered to a wire. I want to be battery powered. For example, the light that I have here and here lighting me right now are edge lights. They have 2 batteries each. That means if I'm hand holding, which I have the capability to do, then I'm hand holding with batteries. I'm not tethered. Now, that plus the fact that I can't tell the brightness or the color temperature of the light kind of are some negative aspects. But then the fact that the handle, although it can slip onto a light stand, there's no threading here. So when you slip it onto a light stand, it has to be slipped on sort of like this or slightly on an angle. Where I have it right now set up for my testing purposes is actually on a light stand, on a boom, sort of like this angle. So it's up on an angle, but still I can like tilt it a little bit. I can't go like this because it'll slip right off. What would have been better is either a sort of a heavier duty light stand screw size or threading here that I can then screw it on to something. If it was a light stand size, that means I could just put it right onto a light stand and tighten it and it's done. But that doesn't exist. It just slipped right in. And again, I understand why they wanted to keep the cost down, so they just use a little plastic knob on a metal, pole and it's done. That's why the cost for the light is so inexpensive. Now, the other thing that happened it is actually, individual diodes. There are diodes for, the cooler temperature and diodes for the warmer temperature, and I'll show you that as well. But so that velcros to the back. When you get to the front, and I am going to aim this at the camera, or I'll aim it more towards me so you can see. But you can see the diodes sort of through the diffusion screen, right? Now this is a velcroed on diffusion screen. When I talk about the quality of the product, I want to just remind you the reasoning why I'm talking about the quality of a product. When I was assembling this straight out of the box, or bag technically, I went to go put the diffusion screen on here, and the diffusion screen ripped in my hand out of the box. That shows you how poor of a quality the diffusion screen is. The Velcro piece literally just tore right off of the diffusion screen. You can see it a little bit right here. It's just kind of hanging on. Like if I don't want to pull this off all the way because I'm afraid it's going to just fall apart on me. Because it's a fabric diffusion screen, there are parts of it that actually touch the diodes in the back, so it gets a little warm, but also you're seeing the diodes more where the fabric touches the diode, and it's diffused more when it's further away, and that makes sense. You gotta be careful that when you're Velcroing it to the front, that it's tight enough that it doesn't do that. Now again, the reason why I'm not making it tighter is I feel like if I undo this, it's gonna fall apart on me. So that's why I'm just letting it do its thing the way it is right now. I talked about some of the negative aspects, but I do want to talk about some of the positive aspects. The light is actually really nice. Now this is pretty dim right now. I could actually increase the brightness of it, and I'm gonna do that. My camera will adjust, have it on aperture priority for this purpose. And I could also go ahead and I can change the color temperature. So now you're actually gonna see the white balance probably is gonna show warmer on this side and cooler on this side. And I'm gonna bring that down just for more of a dramatic look. But yeah, so right now the light, I'm gonna aim it to the camera. You can see the light is very warm, and I can go ahead and make it cooler just like that. It's 100% controlled by this remote, and this remote lets me control up to 4 of these lights. I can turn it on and off individually, or all at once. I can turn them all on and off, just like I could with my other LED light. But again, I can't tell the brightness percentage or the color temperature. So although it's nice that I have the remote, and I can control it without having to, change it and move around the set. I can just do it right here. I'm again guessing. Unless I have a color meter, a light meter right here on me, it's hard for me to tell really the differences. So what I'm basically doing, I have this light set to 100%, which tells me, because there's a screen, and it's on the remote, actually is a little screen too, is this one, I have it set to 100, so I just go up until it stops, and then I go down and basically just count. So I'm counting like 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it's pretty dim. It's probably about 50% or maybe even a little bit, less in brightness. And then if I want to make the color a little bit more dramatic, I can go 1, 2, 3 on the temperature. And now if I look, I have a nice mix of cool and warm diodes that are actually lighting me, which means that I can then, have a little bit of color contrast going on at the same time. So here is the bag that the light came in. Now as you can see, it is quite compact. It has a little shoulder strap. It clips closed. There's no Velcro. The 4 metal bars that make up the square actually roll into this little case. And then you just sort of just put everything in the pouch, snap it closed. Again, there's no Velcro. It has to snap closed. And you throw it over your shoulder and you're on your way. Now, it's not that much more compact, though, than my edge lights that I'm currently using. I have oval-shaped edge lights that when they're actually when you have the Polaroid light open, the edge lights are actually around the same size, and they have round edges instead of it being a square. But they are also edge lights, which means I don't see the diode, which means the light quality is more like a softbox. It's gonna be more beautiful. You're not gonna get a whole bunch of tiny dots in your specular highlights and things like that. They also mount right to a light stand that I can go upside down. They're literally upside down, hanging from my ceiling. So would I ever buy this Polaroid light? No, I wouldn't. I don't see any advantage to it over the lights that I already have. I don't see an advantage to having a product that really, the brand that's on it didn't do their quality control. There's no reason for a little diffusion screen to just tear the moment I'm taking it out of my bag and putting it onto the actual product. A lot of oversights, like not having a screen on the remote or on the actual light. I need to know what my brightness is, what my color temperature is, and I need a battery so that if I'm hand holding it using the pole meant to be handheld, I don't have to be tethered to something. There's too many oversights. Otherwise, the light quality that comes out of the light is quite nice. A lot of the videos that I've done on YouTube recently have been using this light. So the quality is nice. It's just not a good design of a product. Sorry, Polaroid.